Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Thank you for staying with us. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited this week postponed for the 6th time the restart of the operations at the Port Harcourt Refinery after the project was initially scheduled to begin production in 2021. This latest development seems to have cast further doubt on Nigeria's efforts at enhancing its refining capabilities to reduce dependence on imported petroleum products. NNPC Limited, which is responsible for overseeing the refinery's development, has yet to provide a new date for the start of operations. Well, we're now being joined to have a look at this latest setback by Sam Aiboni, a solicitor in the fields of energy and investment. Among many things, we'd also like to find out from him what might be the possible economic, political, and legal reasons for the latest postponement of the operations in that refinery. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Thank you.
This is rather worrisome, isn't it? You know, first time, okay, second time, or maybe. Third time, let's keep our fingers crossed. But 6 times, how did we get here? You know, what does this say about the accountability and the transparency of the communication between the NNPC and the Nigerian people?
Well, I think the straight answer is to say that the President and Minister of Petroleum cannot keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. It is clear that the NNPC has a whole lot of corruption, has mismanaged the process, and it's not unexpected that the 6th time or 7th time or 8th time that the refinery will not work. So I think the whole effort repeating the same thing over and over is a big question. So for me, I think really what the issue around energy for us is really not about refining. Energy for us is about having petrol at the gas station. And I think we should go a step backwards. And I think the solution to the problem is to look at our upstream and get NNPC to increase production. And if we increase production, if we have more crude, we'll have more revenue. That will solve the first problem of revenue. And the extra crude that we produce, we can now say, do we want to produce this internally or take it out? Because we are bleeding on both sides. We are not producing enough. The crews that we have already been committed to pay debts. So the flows that we have for domestic production is shrinking on a daily basis. And even if we had refining capacity today of 650 barrels per day, but we not even have the crude from our production to feed those refineries because we have committed our crude productions to pay off our debt. So I think first things first, I think throwing money at the refineries for NNPC is not the way to go. We are happy that we have Dangote and a few of the modular refineries coming up on stream. It is almost comic that we have boys in the Niger Delta that are boiling crude and we are going after them and they can refine crude, but our institutions, NNPC, is not in a position to refine crude. It's almost tragic.
Well, I mean, this is the way I would like you to look at it. I mean, because I don't want to take away from what you have said that we shouldn't focus on the refineries that NNPC and by extension Nigeria, owns. Last week we had here as a guest the president of the petroleum products retail outlets owners, who said that he was part of those who were conducted around the 2 refineries in Port Harcourt and I think Warri. And he was almost beating his chest to say that this time around NNPC will get it right. They haven't gotten it right. So if you say don't commit more money, money has already been committed since 2021. That's 2 years of Buhari's government and then clearly more than 1 year of Tinubu's government. But the same people at the headship of NNPC, the same people right there. Yes, we may not want to commit more money, but the ones that we have committed, shouldn't they deliver on them? What would be your advice? What do you think at this point that government should do?
Okay. The money we have spent on refineries even goes way beyond that time. 99, we have been spending money on refineries.
Well, there's turnaround, maintenance stuff.
Yeah. And so the question is, do you stop the leakage? Now, yes, I agree with you that we spend money on the refinery. we always hear, even we're just talking about somebody that visited the refinery. We have gotten the GMD on tape, on video, committing to get the refineries running. Milikari. When Kachuku resumed as minister, one of his commitments was to get the refinery up and running. When the guys are on the campaign trail to the refinery up, appoint a minister, first thing, refinery up. So we are not, my point is that the rhetorics that the refinery is going to be up. So it's as if it's just a means, we're going to get the refinery as a means to get allocation to spend on the refinery. Now, what I'm saying is that we need to look at performance.
Okay.
Yes, man. And not through money are the problem. What has been consistent is that NNPC has shown that it cannot run the refineries. So throwing money at NNPC to get the refineries, to get a 2 years timetable just for them to move it, is not something that is unexpected. And that's the point. That's the point I'm making on the refineries, on the refinery issue. So for me, I think we need to face. I think the refinery is not really the issue, because even if we had refining capacity today, we're not producing enough crude to meet our commitments and provide feedstock for the refineries. So for me, it's not really just about. There are two issues. One, we are throwing money, good money, at the refineries, which I don't think we should be doing. Two, we are not facing the real issue, which is we need a NNPC that is fit and nimble to increase production. You understand? So for me, I think the issues we need to be discussing is that we have a PIB that was legislated over a 20-year period that we're not even implementing.
The PIA?
Yeah, the PIA. We're not even implementing the PIA because if we go into subsidy, we're not fully geographize the market. If we go in terms of what NNPC is doing, NNPC is really not following the letters of what has been committed in the PIA. So for me, I think we need to take a step back, and we have had a consistent leadership for NNPC that has performed abysmally. We can't reward them with continuous performance. I think the Minister of Petroleum needs to step into this issue.
The President is the substantive minister.
Yes, the President needs to step in and make a decision. Yes, he has. I don't think this is at the point to be challenging whether we remove subsidy or not, what the pricing has. But I think there are some fundamental issues that need to be addressed.
Thank you. You said that the NNPC is not following the PIA to the letter. In what ways do you think they're deviating from the law? One
is their continuous, I don't even know what to call it, whether it's subsidy, what they are doing with PMS. That's, for me, if the NNPC says that they are following the PIA, then they should not have a process, they should not have an involvement in the process. But today they are the sole importer of this thing. The pricing of the product is a miracle. What is different from PMS, from bread? Everybody has a bakery in Nigeria and produces bread. We buy bread at different prices. So why have we turned PMS into a public good that we filter the whole of Nigeria's resources trying to fund and finance? And everything about it is just corruption and mismanagement. The whole process. We don't need a refinery to have PMS in Nigeria. So why have we made PMS an issue? And from the pricing, from the importation, from the allocation, the whole process, and NNPC is right in the middle of it.
So, yeah, but having functional refineries will make it a lot easier, won't it?
No, that's the point I'm making. Discussion, NNPC refineries is not the industry. Now, we had that, if we said that refinery was the solution, that would say 650 capacity refinery will have solved the problem. I will not be talking about fuel scarcity today.
Well, he hasn't started.
No, that's the point I'm saying. So building a refinery is not the issue. We have some underlying more fundamental issues than just building a refinery. So for me, is this whole issue about major projects, building a refinery, and when the refinery gets complete, the refinery will just resolve all the issues in the industry. But I'm saying that the underlying investment in the industry, the underlying economics, the underlying pricing, the availability of the product in Nigeria, those underlying issues have not been taken into consideration.
But if we look, let's extrapolate a bit into macroeconomics, right? Because the argument for the refineries, for the Dangote refinery, for the Port Harcourt refinery, even for the modular refineries around the country, is that if we are refining our own products, we will reduce the pressure, the forex pressure, and we will also be able to reduce prices of products in Nigeria. So do you think that's not a worthy goal?
So my point is that, and taking your argument is based on the fact that there is product to provide to the refinery. And I'm saying that we don't have, at our current level of production, under 2 million barrels, we don't have the crude oil to produce, even if we have a refinery. So for me, the real issue is to move our production between the 3 and 4 million barrels phase. First of all, we have oil to meet our revenue issues, meet our job obligations. Then we now have volumes of oil that we now have to decide whether we want to give to Dangote, give to NNPC, give to the modular refineries, or export and import, or whether we want to pay subsidy. So for me, I think even before we start the macroeconomics discussion, I think it's a numbers game. And I'm saying that when at this level below 2 million barrels of this, we don't have enough crude oil to provide the volumes that we're talking about in terms of PMS consumption for Nigeria. So first things first, we're even talking about the product availability before even talking about price. Is the non-availability of the product that has talked to subsidy, that has talked to the whole racketeering. So I think for me, firstly, we should go to first base and I'll see how do we have a structured framework to be able to move productions into that 3 to 4 million range. And it's not going to be easy. There's the issue around the investment climate. We are not approving major projects. There is issue about money about for exploration. There is the environmental issues we are talking about it. So there are a lot of issues that we need to do. So I think for me the focus first is to move production into that 3 to 4 million barrels range, so that we have enough revenue to deal with revenue to government. Then we now have sufficient product to go to the refinery. Because if we have refineries, like you said, efficient refineries, and the refineries don't have to be NNPC refineries. If we have refineries, then the products will be available and we cannot deal with the prices of it.
If we stop oil theft totally, or bring it to the barest minimum, which has been underreported anyway, the magnitude of oil theft, do you think that will help at all?
I think the way we discuss oil theft is also the kind of way we've been discussing refinery. I believe that there's oil theft in Niger Delta, but I don't think that if the IOCs, the independents, are producing at 3 to 4 million barrels a day, I don't think that the capacity within the Niger Delta, within what we call the oil theft, will be able to deal with it. Because we're talking about big volumes. Where are the volumes? Yes, there's oil theft, there's bunkering, but I don't think it's in those volumes that we're talking about.
Why don't you think it is? Because we've even received reports that they've super vessels which are filled with oil. So that means that the oil theft is a very it's not just simple bunkering, right? It's not just low level operations. It's a very complex operation when we talk about oil theft in the Niger Delta region.
No, it's okay.
No, I think the question on top of that should be that, are you saying that the question of oil theft in the Niger Delta is exaggerated?
In terms of volumes, yes. That's what I think. Because
why do you think so?
The numbers we're talking about, if we're reporting figures in the region of 400,000 barrels a day,
yes,
of being stolen.
Yes.
In terms of just physical size, if you had that kind of volumes moving around in the Niger Delta, in, like she said, super tankers and this, for me, we have Navy boys on the sea, we have people patrolling the sea. So that kind of volumes cannot go unnoticed. Yes, and now. So if we say that we can say that we're doing those volumes moving out of Nigeria undetected, then it now goes back to government again, because government is government security forces, government is NNPC.
Yeah, but that still ties back to corruption. Doesn't mean that it's been exaggerated. It just means that it's been underreported. No.
Now, okay, for me, there are two sides to the story. One side of the story is to say oil is leaving Nigeria. Now, if oil is leaving Nigeria, it's going outside. It's going to go into refineries and it's going to use for other purposes. So there's going to be, when the oil leaves Nigeria, there's going to be corresponding where the oil goes to. So even if Nigerian government cannot dictate when the oil leaves Nigeria, the countries that the oils are going to, which they should be able to spot it out. Now, for me, yes, oil theft is a big issue, but that does not remove from the fact that we have not done a major project in the oil. An FID on the major project has not happened in 8 to 9 years. That does not remove from the fact that the IOCs are not investing in the Niger Delta. That does not remove the fact that government is not approving sales and the investment is not coming in. So if the investment is not coming in, then production will fall naturally. So irrespective of whether we're managing oil theft or not managing oil theft, and I think we should all admit Arise is doing some very nice work there. We have some security agencies that are reporting oil theft. So even if oil theft was, production even has started to steadily climb. So I think that the oil theft issue is being addressed. But what I'm saying is that apart from oil theft is one of the factors. But I think the real main factor is for us to increase production. So it's one of my friends.
What do you think that what will it require exactly?
Yeah. Require for
yes.
So for me, like I listed out, first of all, what would require is that first there has to be more investment coming in from IOCs and international community, and government's failure to approve consent for some transactions that are happening is not helping matters. So foreign investment is not coming in. The government has to also approve FIDs and projects a little quicker. There's a lot of delay on that side. And if you approve these projects, each of those projects can get to $15 billion, $20 billion per project. That is going to bring money into the industry. Now, that's on that. On the issue on the regulation and environmental debate, we need to be a little bit faster on how we do business and encourage this thing. We have the Nigerian independents that are doing a lot, they're doing very well. Seplat, ND Western, Fresh Hydrocarbon. They have increased production. So the capacity to increase production is there. It's just to create the environment and focus. So instead of talking about NNPC's inability to do refineries, I think the focus for the minister should be saying, how does he get these guys to increase production into that 3-4 million? Right. And I think that for me, that is really where the focus is, because it really doesn't add any value to continue to slap and beat NNPC for not delivering the refinery, because we know from history that their performance is bad and we shouldn't expect anything different from them.
That's definitely a good place to end it. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time and your analysis of this particular topic on The Morning Show.